Hey there, everybody. How's everyone doing today? Thank you so much for joining us. I'm so excited. You're going to be excited. You're going to be psyched you're here. You're going to be psyched you stayed. You're going to be psyched you watched this. People are here. Adam Scott's going to be joining us. I see a lot of his fans are already here. It's going to be fun. Yeah. We're going to talk about all kinds of things. We're going to be getting into it. It's going to be really fun. So thank you guys for coming. Let me play the theme song while you guys are here. Okay, hold on. There. There we go. That's the theme song. We're just getting it together. We're just getting started. People are showing up. A lot of people are here already. This is going to be fun. We have a lot to discuss. Very little time. A lot to deal with. This is your favorite Tuesday night activity. I hope so. I hope of all the Tuesday night things you could be doing, the only other thing you could be doing tonight, I guess you could be watching the DNC and the roll call, where the great state of Rhode Island cast all their ballots for Joe Biden. Yes, we know, we're excited. We're excited for Biden, but we don't have to hear every single state and Samoa do that. Yeah. Aye, Adam Scotty. Fan site is here. You love the theme, Global. I know you do, buddy. I know you do love it. It's happening. It's real. Everyone having fun so far in August? Summer's almost over, guys. We have 2 or 3 more weeks of summer. And then the fall starts, and you wouldn't know it because you're not leaving your house, and the weather doesn't mean anything, so you'll never know it. But yeah, so I guess fall's going to start if that means anything to you, because you didn't really have a spring or a summer anyway. Kudos from Brazil. What's up, Brazil? Fernanda Hoffman is here. I'm psyched you're here. The theme's awesome. Thank you, Hollywood 6. Oh my God! I can't believe how fast it's gone. I know, right? It went so fast. Can I check a spot on this alien's balls? No, I can't. I'm not a doctor like that. I'm not a doctor. I don't check alien balls. I'm wearing a softball shirt. Yeah, sort of. I guess so. Yeah, I'm wearing a softball shirt. I have soft balls. Dave Russick is here. Good to see you too, buddy. Actor turned fireman, Dave Russick. Let's see if we can get Adam here. Wonder where he's at. He's coming. He'll be here in a minute. Yeah, I said alien balls? When did I say alien balls? I never said that. I mean, I'll talk about alien balls all day if you want me to. Here we go, what's happening. Oh, Lord. Good to see you, too. Here he goes. He's here. All right. Hope you guys are having fun. I hope everyone's settled in. I hope everyone's sitting in there with their a squeegee, a scrunchie, a snuggie. Hope everyone's got a drink, maybe 2 or 3 drinks. This is going to get real in a minute, guys. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, one of the greatest, best performers I know. Coming at you, Mr. Adam Scott. There he is.
Hey, man.
Hey, buddy. How are you?
Sorry that was not the smoothest takeoff there.
It was as perfect as anyone else.
Were you on for like 3? Because I did one of these recently. It was my first one where I was the person starting it. And I found that sitting there waiting for the guest for like 20 seconds felt like 7 hours.
Right. Well, I'm used to it, and I'm used to vamping.
I'm sure.
And I just talk to the audience. Like, people are asking questions, and we're making a conversation. You know, like people from Brazil were saying hi, and someone was asking me to check their alien balls. It was a whole thing.
Oh, well, I'm sorry I missed that.
It's
balls.
Alien balls. Yeah. It was huge.
Well,
so, your hair looks fantastic, by the way.
Doesn't it?
I'm so
I
into
look
your
like
hair.
It's like the Nick Nolte mugshot.
Arrest picture. Yeah. It's also, I love that you have a visor.
Well, I put a visor on because my hair is so. I started out. When the pandemic started. I was growing it out for a job, and so then the pandemic happened, and I was like, well, now I can really grow it out. So I just haven't cut it, and so it's longer than my hair's been since like 1992. Remember when we all had super long hair?
Yes, I'm saying my hair got the longest it was been since '94 was the last time I had it long, and then I cut it.
Right.
And now it's long. Look, I got 1992 like CW hair.
That's like funny. Totally. That's total Dawson's Creek.
I got Dawson's Creek cut.
Yep.
I haven't done this since I was a kid. I was like, I'll give it a try now that my hair's long.
It looks good. It looks like you could be there with Pacey and Dawson and Joey.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it looks like I should be wearing like one of those thin plaid shirts that was big at like 90210.
And some big, like, super light blue jeans.
Very light blue Gap blue jeans, super light.
With some black boots.
Yeah, and a different light shirt tied around my waist.
Yes,
two different ones.
An entirely different shirt around the waist.
And
one
maybe
that
like
is not needed.
No, not needed. Never needed. And then another one underneath, one of those like a thermal underneath with the sleeves out.
Right. Totally. Oh my God.
Every bad boy had yeah. Everyone had the same outfit. Every bad boy had the same.
Everyone.
Same
I remember right when I started out in like the fall of 1993, which is when I started like going on auditions and stuff. Yeah. It was all grunge. Like everyone at every audition was dressed in like grunge wear, because that's what all the casting notices said was like grunge, dress grunge, and so it was all that shit, and it was so stupid.
In fact, now that I'm thinking about it, my buddy Dave, who's watching right now, was starred on Catwalk. I don't know if you remember that, but it was like a '90s band. It was like an MTV show about a band, and he was the singer.
Yes.
And he had the perfect version of this back in the day.
Oh,
and it's funny, God. I was thinking about it because he happens to be watching now.
Do you remember the MTV show? It was their first scripted show in 1994 is when it came out, called Dead at 21.
Yeah, you were in it.
I was. That was my first job ever, was a guest part on that. Do you remember that show?
I do remember that show, of course, because it was written by Jonathan Sherman, but a different Jonathan Sherman than I'm friends with.
Oh, okay.
And they had a whole thing about getting confused for each other a lot.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, that's a very different Jonathan Sherman. That's so funny.
Yeah, the playwright. So he used to watch it to watch what the other one was doing.
Oh, that's so funny. It was really, from what I don't really remember it, but I remember it was like, I remember it saying in the script, it was like jokes about Eddie Vedder and stuff. Like it was that, because it was MTV
right, of course.
Scripted teen show.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Anyway,
I had hair like down to here. And, so.
Do you remember, was that exciting? That must have been exciting though, being on that MTV show. You must have been.
Yeah, it was so exciting. Like, I don't know if I've ever been able to replicate that excitement when I found out I was going to be on television.
Yeah.
Like, it was, I didn't even know, like, it was mind-blowing. And I remember getting, like I think it was $1,400 for my check.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, this is mine. And I just was an idiot and just spent it because for whatever reason, I thought, well, since I just did this guest part on this TV show and they gave me $1,400, I'm now going to get this every week for the rest, like I may as well spend all of this.
Yeah. The checks are going to keep rolling in. I know.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. I lived in Princeton, my hometown, for a year after I graduated. Before I moved to the city, And I did really well that year before I moved here. I was in 3 plays. I did like 2 commercials. I was like, this is easy.
Right.
And then I moved to New York, and nothing for like 2 years.
Oh my God. It's so funny because I was the same thing. Like I found myself like sitting in my apartment, like rehearsing what the interviews I would be giving as like this new actor on MTV, like for whatever. I didn't know. I thought like I have this guest spot, and once this is on TV, I'm going to be like super famous, but also I'm going to have my pick of like whatever movies, and like I just
the offers are going to come rolling in. Yeah.
But like you said, like because I got that job pretty quickly after I started like auditioning, so it gave me this false sense of confidence or whatever. But then after that, I just sat around for a year. You know, that's what happens.
Yeah, you sit around forever.
And it's really hard.
Yeah. Did you? What did you do? Did you cater? Did you bartend?
No, I had I did have some jobs here and there, but during that time, my grandma would pay my rent, and that was like a lifesaver because I could go and audition and I could scrape together money for like food and beer and whatever else I needed to do. And I did start doing like guest spots and stuff and kind of kept myself afloat, but she was paying my rent, which was such a big deal that I didn't have to worry about that. Yeah.
Huge.
And it was like the rent was like a $300 like studio, like one room, just a shithole.
Yeah, I lived like that for a long time.
Yeah,
I had a famously small apartment on 29th and Broadway for 14 years.
Whoa!
I paid $400 a month.
See, why would you let go of
why would I leave
in New York?
Because I got bought out. Because it's the Ace Hotel now.
No way, the Ace Hotel. That's where you live.
That's where I live.
Shit.
Wow. If you go to the bathroom of room 506, that was my apartment.
Wow.
It's very small. It was 115 square feet.
Was it like enough room for like a bed and a
loft
desk or something?
Not even loft. Sort of loft with a couch under it.
Yep.
Like a TV, some shelves, a little sink, and a closet.
Yep. And did you share a bathroom?
Yes.
Yeah, and you got totally used to that, right?
Yeah, I was there forever. Yeah.
I used to stay in a hotel in New York where you shared a bathroom. That's where I would stay whenever I went there. Me and my friend. Do you know Dan Meyer?
No.
You know Dan Meyer?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's where we would stay, and it was still like at the time, it was like I couldn't imagine what a real hotel room must have cost. Because we were spending all of our money on this place where we had to share a bathroom. Anyway, so that's incredible that you kept that apartment for 14 years. That's amazing.
From September 94 to July of 08 when they bought me out.
Wow.
And I ended up
amazing.
making more on the buyout than I spent in rent.
Oh, I'm sure. Of course.
Yeah.
That's great. You should get like an award for longest small apartment living or something.
Yeah. I should. Josh Charles is here. He says you're very hot.
He's there with you?
He's watching. He's watching.
You know, I just showed my kids Dead Poets Society last week. Yeah. Have you seen that movie in a while?
Not in a while, but I know it well. There's clips come up online. People should post clips here and there.
You should watch it. Josh is incredible.
He's great, right?
Oh my God. I hadn't seen it in years.
Yeah.
And Josh is fucking incredible. And that movie is just a heart crusher. It's so
especially
great.
His part. I mean, he goes after the girl at the other school, and then she kind of rejects him, and
Yeah,
It's a whole
yeah,
thing.
yeah. Anyway,
he says you're getting even better looking now.
Oh, I so appreciate that. Josh has always been a big visor guy.
He's a giant visor guy. You kidding me?
He's always like you
He
go into his closet, a whole wall of visors.
Yeah, he tried to get one surgically implanted, but he
I
couldn't. He
know.
couldn't find the right
He
doctor.
couldn't. Why did he think someone would do that?
No, I know. He was like, "I'm gonna do this. I'm telling you. Like, why would I put one on every day?
Right.
I just have it there."
And all of us, his friends, were like, really? Like you're gonna wait, start over. A visor surgically. He's like, yes,
Surgically
trust
implanted.
me.
I'm telling you, this is the wave of the future.
Yep.
You know,
Everyone's gonna be doing it.
everyone's gonna be doing it. Yeah,
I'm gonna do it right now before the whole craze hits.
Yeah. I'll that will be my legacy. My legacy will be I'll be visor guy. It's gonna be huge.
Josh Charles, visor guy. I'm so
Visor
glad
guy.
someone talked him out of it.
I think it's just the doctors did.
Yeah, probably. It's medically impossible.
One of the things you've done that I've been most impressed with, that I was the more jealous of, was the greatest event in television history.
Oh,
Those
thanks.
were so incredible. In fact,
thanks.
sometimes when I'm feeling blue, I'll watch them.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
They're great.
Yeah, those are fun.
Half the time I'm like, how did you even do that? Like some of the
Yeah.
stuff would be so hard to do.
It was super hard. It was
I
super
bet.
hard.
If those who don't know, he recreated 4 of the best openings of 80 shows. He did the Bosom Buddies, the Heart to Heart, which is hard,
Yeah.
the Simon and Simon, which is a classic, and Too Close for Comfort.
Yeah.
For the Bosom Buddies, did you actually catch the ball behind your back?
No.
You
That was we digitally put that in.
Oh, I was
Because
imagining you would do like 19 takes of it until you got it right.
No, well, we did try it a couple times, and then we're like, yeah, we'll just put it in. The thing about making those that was so crazy was the time and energy for wardrobe, props, location. We try to find the original locations whenever we could.
Yeah.
But they're clips of actual episodes that they use for those credit sequences.
Right.
So we go there, we get it all ready, get everything going, and we're shooting usually less than a second of footage.
Right.
Like that's what we're matching.
Right.
So we do it 5 or 6 times, and then it's like, all right, we're done. On to the next one. And it just is every time felt kind of anticlimactic.
Yeah.
But the one that took the longest was a Bosom Buddies shot where Paul and I are both out on a field with baseball gloves, and one of us catches the ball and the other
Oh my
one,
God! I was going to ask about that next. One tips the ball in a certain way, the other one has to dive and catch it.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that took forever. That took like a few hours, and it was super hot. That was like the hardest one.
Because that's clearly when they shot it first time, like a mistake.
Yes.
That was just a mistake, and then you have to recreate their mistake.
Right.
It's impossible.
Right. And so many of them, like 80s television was kind of just like shitty. So a lot of the stuff we're recreating just sort of looks shitty and was probably totally an accident and the result of just sort of being on the fly and we're meticulously like cameras kind of moving unintentionally and stuff like that. We're trying to capture all of that as well. But yeah, those were fun and super hard. But that's
super hard.
To
I love it. I love them because as a kid who like those were some of my favorite shows and loved those openings. Like the Simon Simon opening is iconic to me.
Yeah, you know? That's my favorite.
It's incredible.
Ever.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
The funny moments, like the weird funny moments they chose to put in there.
Yeah.
You know, why?
I know.
It makes no sense.
But also the way that song just sort of moves and the action stuff they cut in with the song, it's really brilliantly cut to go with that music, and it goes perfectly.
It's like kind of it's like interesting. It's like kind of a country song with like, but it sort of has you'd see how it works behind action footage at the same time.
It's like country rock, like late 70s FM music.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It feels like a dad band of like
Yes.
like Cialis guys in the garage.
That's right. We were Cialis commercial.
Yeah, it's like a Cialis commercial band.
Man, I would love to make that Cialis commercial playing the Simon and Simon song
Yeah,
with some other middle-aged guys.
Yeah. That would be the ad.
So fun.
That would be a great ad. Is that all these middle-aged dudes and they're playing that jam, and not even doing it that well. They're kind of doing a bad version.
No, doing it super shitty. It was Paul Scheer who thought of because we had to fill. We couldn't just make the credit sequences. We had to fill like a 15-minute time slot.
Oh right,
yeah. It was Scheer who was like, maybe we do like it's an event, someone hosts it or something. Like he kind of had that, which was a really good idea.
Yeah.
And it sort of went from there, and
that made it really fun, and you got to see some genuine like behind the scenes of it.
Yeah.
You know, like the truck thing for Simon. You got the truck to go into the water.
Yeah.
That was a new shot. Well, you didn't use the old shot.
That's right, and the helicopter shot of that San Diego bridge. We went up in the chopper, and
you did a whole new shot of it.
Yeah, and Heart to Heart, we got in a helicopter and shot the speedboat down in the ocean.
You did?
Yeah, it was so dumb. It was so dumb.
Needless.
Like, why? No one asked for this. No one wants this, and we're in a helicopter. Getting these dumb shots. Anyway,
you're risking your life in this bit that no one cares about.
No one cares.
I loved it. I think Heart to Heart has the most action. I think.
Yeah. There's a lot. There's like explosions and stuff.
Yeah. You haven't had a flamethrower.
Yeah, that was Simon.
Oh, that's Simon. There's a flamethrower.
And we got like a flamethrower guy. The flamethrower guy shows up, and we're like, this is great. So here's what we're doing. And he's just like, what? Like trying to explain, like, you're the guy in the credit sequence from Simon and Simon. He's like, okay. And we put him in these super lame 80s clothes. He's like, okay. And he had to do the flamethrower. Yeah. Watching a real flamethrower is pretty fun.
I bet. And kind of scary.
Kind of scary, yeah, because it's a flamethrower.
Yeah. That's what it does.
How is it in New York right now?
It's interesting. It's because it's August, and normally feels kind of empty anyway, but it feels particularly empty because I think people have left, and more people have left than normal. And but there's still plenty of people around. Like I do like walking around every day, and there's still feels crowded. Like Central Park feels crowded. The streets feel crowded.
And is everyone wearing a mask?
90%.
Yeah, that's
90%. Yeah,
that's
most everyone. But it's absurd is that every restaurant has like a big outdoor seating area, right?
Yeah.
So every restaurant has moved outdoors, which they can do. And they have they've given them part of the street, and they've given them part of the sidewalk. And they're all packed. Like everyone's eating outside. Like thank God for every restaurant has plenty of folks there.
That's great.
It's great. But no one's wearing a mask who's
at
eating.
The restaurants, right?
At the restaurant. So everyone is walking from their apartment to the restaurant with a mask on. But once they're sitting and talking to their friends, no one has a mask on.
That's weird to me.
It's very weird, and I feel like I get it because you're eating and you're assuming that everyone else at your table is fine, but you don't know, and hopefully when they got tested last. But it seems a little like everyone's trying to do their best, but it seems a little backwards.
Yeah, there are some. That's what I've wanted, because in LA you see that there's or before we had to shut down again, there were restaurants that were the seating outside, or Starbucks too, and that's what I think. It's like you're sitting at a small table together talking, and you could totally be spreading at a So I don't know. It is kind of weird, but New York's doing very well, though, right? There's not a lot of activity there as far as
infection's super low. I'd say it's the lowest in the country. It's super low.
It's great, yeah.
But there's been a lot of articles about a lot of people have written a lot of pieces like New York's over, I'm leaving New York, New York's done, because there's been like an uptick in crime, particularly all over the place. Like there was a slashing down my block the other day.
Oh God, really?
And and I'm like, as much as it's like a teeny bit scary, because not everyone's getting stabbed every day,
right?
Like, odds are you're not going to get stabbed.
Yeah.
But
will you let me know though if you do?
I will. I'll call you first.
Yeah. I'll just be curious, like what it felt like.
Searing. But it does feel like a little bit of like 80s New York.
Yeah.
So like early 80s,
scary.
Very gritty and scary. There's genuinely like a 3% chance I might get beaten or stabbed as I leave the house, and it's kind of thrilling.
That's fun. That's really fun.
It's fun. It feels like that Desperately Seeking Susan vibe.
It's like a Charles Bronson movie.
It's like a Charles Bronson movie. Yeah. I got to start bringing my nunchucks with me wherever I go.
Pack a machete in your computer bag.
Just hanging out the back of it.
Yeah. Or like Indiana Jones, just have it at the ready. Just reach back and grab a machete.
I'd love that. I would
see how long you last. That's exciting though. There's because I talked to a friend who's like in London, and he had gone to Paris like for the weekend because the Channel had opened up, I guess, and he was like, everything's cool. Everybody has a mask on, and everything's distanced, and everyone's doing exactly what they should do, and stuff is like up and running and somewhat normal. Yeah. It just has taken us so long. I mean, New York's been there for a couple months, obviously, but everywhere else, we just can't quite make the connection.
No one can get on the same page from state to state, and that's our problem. And people are, I think I have my own theory about how like the American exceptionalism is working against us.
What do you mean?
The American exceptionalism, where everyone has the sense of Americans like we're a little bit better than everyone. We don't need
like
to protect ourselves. We're a little immortal. There's no way we're going to die. Let the Europeans die. I get it.
Right. I mean, I think also, no matter what you think of the president at any time, like no matter how much of an idiot you think Donald Trump is, if the president from day one was like, okay, put on a mask, stay away from each other, wash your hands, and poured money into billboards and PSAs everywhere, and just from the start made that messaging a priority, as well as testing and all the other stuff you need to fund. But that would have made a huge difference.
I think we would have saved 50,000 people.
100. I mean, yes. Yeah. It never ceases to be unbelievable what is going on. Are you still like, holy shit, this is happening? Are you still having those moments where you're like, I can't fucking believe we're in this science fiction movie?
Sometimes I feel like it is. I feel like that when I'm running up against a barrier that I never had before. Like all of a sudden I can't go see a certain friend because they hadn't been tested yet. Or I can't go do something simple. Sometimes when I can't do something simple because of something disease related, that drives me crazy.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's really good. And that comes fresh all the time because there's always something new like I can't go do. I'm like, God damn it. I can't go see this person, or this person can't come here, or whatever the thing is. It's driving me crazy.
Right. I can't go to the penis shop. You can't go to the penis shop.
I haven't been to my local penis shop in so long. I have no dildos. All my dildos are old.
The dildo shop. Is that different? That's different than the penis
That's a different shop. Yes. Because those are not real. They're not real.
No.
You're talking about the real ones.
Yeah. I'm talking about the actual penis
shop.
I was in line yesterday to get tested. When you out here they have them at Dodger Stadium in the parking lot. They have a testing.
I heard.
So you're in your car, right?
Right.
And it's moments like that where we're in line. My son and I were just waiting in line, and there are these big screens showing people like coughing into the thing and like the visual instructions, and then the mayor coming on and Garcetti coming on and just being like, "Hey everyone, thank you for doing this. Here's what we should do. We're all in this together." And people in hazmat suits walking by with carrying it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just, I am in a futuristic movie. It just, those moments like that are what kind of snap me into
Oh
it.
yeah.
Just like
Especially,
if 1 year ago or 6 months ago we looked at where we are, it's just mind blowing what we've gotten used to. It's crazy.
yeah, humans can adapt, and I'm shocked how fast we adapt to stuff that's so foreign to us.
Yeah.
Right. Especially that thing where you're at like Dodger Stadium, where it's such this mass of people, and there's a jumbotron of someone. Is so science fiction.
I know.
It's crazy.
I know. I remember, right, like as a teenager, we would like, and we'd like get stoned and talk about how futuristic everything is. Do you remember, like, right when you like smoked pot for one of the first times, and you talk about like how futuristic things? Anyway, that's like most things that stoners talk about. It does not translate to a good story. Like when you're a teenager.
It was so important at the time.
It was so interesting.
Speaking of interesting, you texted me that story about being on the John McEnroe show.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to talk about it or not.
Sure, yeah. Well, I watched you and Hubel talking a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how he and Paul Scheer, like one of their first writing jobs was on the John McEnroe show.
Yeah.
Like CNBC or something, right?
See, it was on CNBC, and they were like the cast, and they wrote bits.
Yeah, and didn't he say like they would go out and do bits with him, and John McEnroe's like, "Hey, wait a second, you're the writer. I know you." Like he was not.
He didn't go along with the characters ever.
That's the best. I would love to find that footage. Like that is. And Hubel and Scheer just being like young and just so psyched to be on TV, and just
it was
being
their
like,
first time.
Come on, yeah. Oh, it's great. Yeah, and I think it was the first time I had done a talk show, and because I had a tiny part in The Aviator, and so I had like a publicist. I shouldn't have had a publicist, just have this small part, and I'm like, I should do this, and so.
Did you see my Dead at 21?
Right, exactly. So she got me on the John McEnroe show, and I was like excited. I was like, "Whoa, I'm gonna be on a talk show. This is crazy." Mm-hmm. But it then, like the day before I did it, it got canceled. So I remember we go there to the studio where they do it, and it felt like they had just gotten canceled. Like everybody was just checked out and kind of bummed, and lots of people had already, I guess, left because it was like severely understaffed. Like even to the point where when it was time to actually do the thing, and I had never been on a talk show, I don't know where you go, what you're supposed to do, and there was no one to tell me like, okay, you go over there, and because usually it's like you go stand behind that curtain, they'll say your name, someone's going to open the curtain, you just walk out, and Jimmy's sitting right there, or whatever you do when you're on a talk show. Here it was just like you're just backstage in the pitch dark, and they called my name, and I had to like walk around and try and find where it was, where the door was to go.
No stage manager?
No one. Everyone had left.
Oh my God, that sounds horrific.
It was crazy, but I didn't know. I thought maybe that's how they do. I don't know. And but I remember he hadn't seen the movie, so for all he knew, I was like one of the stars of The Aviator. So he was just like, wow. Yeah. It's like, wow, this is a big deal that you're on the show. Like, this is a big movie. I was like, sure, yeah, I guess so. I wonder if Scheer and Hubel worked there when I did that. I mean, I think it was literally the last day that they made the show.
Oh, for real?
I don't. Wow. I think so, or maybe the day after that. I just know they were shutting down when I was. It was hilarious.
That sounds so dark and very, very Hollywood in a way. I hosted a show on Nat Geo. I hosted 2 shows on Nat Geo. The second show I hosted on Nat Geo got canceled halfway through. And God. So they still shot the whole season. They still aired the whole season, but they knew before we finished shooting that they weren't going to renew it.
And you had to keep making it.
We had to keep making it. And I was happy to make it because I thought the shows were really fun. Like I really was enjoying it. But I just noticed, and I didn't know what had happened. I just noticed there was a distinct difference in how we were being talked to and how we were being treated the last week or two. You know? All of a sudden,
cancellation.
After the cancellation, we still were shooting. But I remember they were like, they just didn't care anymore. No one cared about notes. No one cared about what we were doing. Like, no one would call you back.
Execs from the network weren't really dropping by that
No
much.
one cared anymore. Yeah. And then what really hit me was when it aired, like maybe 2 months after we shot it. I called the PR people and I'm like, how are we going to promote it? Do you want me to do like interviews on some radio shows or something? And they're like, we're not going to promote this. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And this is the in-house PR people.
We aren't going to spend a nickel.
Yep. She goes, we don't have the manpower to promote this. I'm like, manpower? What are you talking about? You're the network PR people. You do nothing but these shows. That's all you do.
That's what you do.
You do. Like, what else are you working on?
Manpower was like the buzzword that week that they were using a lot.
Yeah. So my tweets were the only PR the show got.
Wow. So what was the show? Was it?
It was called. No, it was called Science of Stupid, and it was a fail video show. So it was just me in front of like a green screen, and I would show fail videos, and then we'd explain the science of how they could have done it right and not fallen.
That's fun. That's a good idea.
It was fun. It ended up being like a secret hit because little kids loved it.
Oh yeah. So
they ended up airing several seasons of it after, but they didn't use me. They just
that's nice.
They used they bought the English version from England, which Richard Hammond hosted, and just aired his version instead of reshooting it with me.
Yeah. Wow.
But it was weird considering they hated it. It ended up being like a hit for them.
That sounds very typical of.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know. That's the thing, is that you never know. You never know what's going to be good or what people are going to like. It's impossible to.
Yeah. I mean, people love Don't. Everyone loves Don't.
Right. I do remember when we shot Party Down, the thing that was really fun about it, or, looking back, the thing that was really fun about it is that none of us thought it would ever really get seen. Like, we didn't know where this was going. It was on Stars, and at the time Stars was not a thing that people totally knew or was defined in people's heads. So we just thought that we're just doing this little cable thing that no one's going to see. Yeah. And that actually ended up being, looking back, that ended up being such a fun part of it that we were doing it more for ourselves and because it was fun rather than trying to get it like just so because people are going to be watching this. And that's part of what I think made it fun to watch too, is that we were just there not caring as much about the
result.
End result,
you know? Care. You're just having fun. You're like, no one's going to see it anyway. Let's just have fun. I love that show. Party Down is great. And I was a cater waiter in New York for years.
Oh, you were?
Oh, yeah. I've had some stories. Yeah.
I bet.
I did. I mean, so many stories. I mean, I've seen like the heads of the companies like slap waiters before,
No.
Right in front of everyone.
No.
Oh yeah, we was at the we did the Alex and Alex wedding. Alex von Furstenberg married Alex Miller, and that was and Alex Miller was
just a giant
duty-free.
New York.
Well, there was like 3 different parties, and this was like the pre-wedding party, which was also like $1 million thing.
Jesus.
And it was all night. It was like a 12-hour thing, and they built down in Battery Park. They built a tent that looks like a Hong Kong like circus ring. So they had all these like Hong Kong performers performing. It was just the whole thing was insane.
Wow.
And that went on. That was like hundreds and hundreds of like waiters. And I remember some waiter talked back to the dude running the show, and he slapped him in front of everyone.
Oh my God.
It was insane. It was
That's
insane.
insane. That would, I wonder, do you think that would happen today? Do you think anyone would do that? Or do you think people now know, like, oh shit, I can't do that. You can't do that.
Maybe, but I feel like it was such a high-strung, like high-tense moment right before the party started. And everyone was so tense,
Right.
that like, and this guy was, very like perfectionist, like captain,
Right. He
and
was
he was
freaking out.
he was
The
freaking
thing
out.
was,
So no
yeah.
matter what, even if it happened today, I'm sure he would have slapped whoever it was.
Whoever was in his line of sight
Exactly.
getting slapped.
Yeah, I ended up making out with another cater waiter girl that night. Later on that night,
Great.
It went on forever, and everyone was so hammered.
Yeah. Oh my God. What fun. That's the thing, is you think back to those days, and it's so much fun. Like, just thinking about those when you're young and like you don't know anything and you're just fucking around and having fun. It's such a blast.
I miss it. Yeah.
Me too.
I miss not having responsibilities.
Me too.
These kids, enough. I get it with the kids. I get it.
Oh man, it's like it's like literally a different lifetime. Like, it's a different person,
Yeah. Yeah,
Thinking
it does feel like a different person, because your frame of mind was completely different. The way I thought about the world, the way I approached the world was completely different.
Yeah.
It's been so long since I've been that person where I've like not had like a bunch of other stuff in my mind all the time.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right. And just physiologically too, your brain is just like, I don't know, and you're just thinking about everything differently. Anyway.
Yeah. Speaking of kids, The Overnight is one of my favorites.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I saw that at the screening here in town in New York, and I didn't really appreciate it as much. Now that I'm a parent, I appreciate it more. Right. Especially when you're new in town, and all of a sudden this guy's like, "Bring your kids. Let's have a night."
Oh my God.
It's such a fun movie. If you guys haven't seen it, definitely go see it.
Yeah, it's a fun movie, and we shot it in like 10 days.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just like a block away from here, from where we live. So we just walk up the street, and we shot it in 10 days, and like it was 15 people, actors included. It was a really fun, small thing. And Patrick Bryce, the guy that wrote it and directed it, is super talented, and Jason Schwartzman is
Jason Schwartzman's so great in it.
Yeah. Taylor Schilling is so great.
Yeah, Taylor
Judith
Schilling.
Godrich is great.
Yep.
It was just super fun. It was a fun, like,
I wish there was
weeks.
more sex in it, but it was pretty good. Not enough sex for me.
We were actually thinking at one point, like, it's a tiny movie and no one cares, but it would be a fun movie to do a sequel to.
Yeah.
Because it was such a uncomfortable life-changing moment for these four people.
Yeah.
That picking up a couple years later might be interesting.
Yeah, you should. You should be like, where are they now? Like, some of them are divorced.
Right.
Maybe they're living separately. Maybe they have, like, the four of them have a night together where they're reconciling.
Yeah.
The kids are older.
What if we make a sequel and all four of them are dead? And it's just a sequel, but it's about other people because they all died.
So the sequel is just about a different two couples.
Yeah.
Who meet somehow in the graveyard.
Because the ghosts of the original four characters.
Yeah.
Set them up on a date. That's a little dark for these times.
It's a little dark. Less death is better.
Yeah.
It's not as good as the 2 Chainz video you were in. How did you get involved in that?
Right. That was a commercial for Expensify. Do you know what that is? No, but it sounds expensive. I didn't know what it was either, and I don't know if I can explain it to you now, but it's an app, something to do with like business expenses or something. And so they made like it was a commercial, but it was like a music video commercial thing.
Gotcha. Branded content is what they call it.
That's what it was. And I was there with 2 Chainz, and he was way cooler than me. Like there,
Really?
you can't, you never feel quite as lame as when you're hanging out with 2 Chainz.
Really?
You know?
He feels like that. He feels that cool. He's super tall, I know.
He's really tall. He's
Yeah.
super nice and like
Yeah.
really just cool. He's like someone that feels like they figured it out.
Oh wow. I like that.
And yeah, like very, like, you know, just super nice, confident. He's, you know, the world is his oyster, and I'm someone who never feels like I've figured anything out. I don't know about you, but I've always seen people who look like they figured it out and wondered what the secret is.
I'm still trying to figure out what I'm supposed to be figuring out.
Right. Like that's how far off the mark I am.
Yeah. I got to figure out what the thing is first, and then try and figure that out.
Right.
It's terrible. This is what I always ask people: is that have you ever almost died? Have you ever been in a situation where you like, oh my God, I should have died, and I'm so glad I didn't.
Wow.
You know, where like it was a hairy situation,
Yeah.
maybe like you're on a cliff or a car or whatever. I don't know, or like on a set.
Yeah. Boy. Yeah. God. Isn't that a crazy thing to think about?
Yeah.
Another inch or two in one direction or the other, it could have been.
Yeah.
Like once in a while you're driving and you're just like, whoa, that was pretty close, and that would have been a devastating situation.
Yeah, it's happened to me a bunch of more than it should.
Yeah.
You know,
especially in New York when you're just walking across the street and sometimes people drive by. And just, what were you going to say? Sorry.
I was saying one time I was summer. I was living in Boston, and Mike Showalter was living in Providence, and we know each other from home.
Right.
So we had gone back to Jersey, where we're from, to see some old friends. We had drinking all night, and then it was like 5 a.m, and I had to drive back to Boston because I had to be at work.
Yeah.
So after drinking all night, I drove us back to Providence to drop Mike off.
Yeah.
At 5 a.m. and we got there at like 9 a.m.
Yeah, that's a long drive.
And it's a long drive being hammered, and I fell asleep several times, and we did not die.
Oh
That's something that could have gone wrong many times.
Yeah. You know what? That just reminded me of one of those times is I was working on a movie and we had to make that drive. It was like a night shoot, and then we had to drive back to where everyone was staying, and it was like a 90-minute drive or something. It was in like rural Connecticut, and we had to get back to the town where everyone was staying. And a PA, we were all exhausted, and a PA was driving the car, and it was like 5 of us stuffed into like a hatchback, and we were going on like a rural highway. Like people were driving fast, and I was in the back seat, and I happened to just be awake, just kind of staring out the window, and noticed that we just kind of swerved, and we were moving into the other lane, and there was a like semi coming straight at us, and I just had to tap her on the shoulder, and she corrected. But if we were all asleep in that car, I don't, who knows?
Who knows?
Maybe nothing, but it seemed like this was about to happen.
It's the littlest
like
things.
That happens, I know.
Because also, like, being on the highway is one of those things that's such a fragile experiment anyway. I mean, things can go bad really fast.
Yeah,
I'm surprised they don't all the time.
One of our viewers here just told me to sit down. Yeah. Is this driving everyone crazy that I
haven't really
walking
noticed.
Around? Okay.
I noticed. What's the Billy Joel story someone just asked about?
Billy Joel? Well, Billy Joel ended up being in the Bosom Buddies.
Oh, he was.
Greatest event, yeah. And we went out there and met up with him is it on Long Island? Is that where his place
That's where
is?
he lives. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was so much fun because we went and shot the bits we did with him, And then it was a couple hours, and then he was like, "Hey, do you guys want to go grab dinner tonight?" Like, yeah, sure. It was me, Rudd, and Naomi and Julie, and so we all go out and go have dinner. And I remember he brought his own bag of fresh mussels to the Italian restaurant we went to.
Of course he did.
And
bottle of white.
Yeah, I know. He gave the bag of mussels to the waiter, and he's like, "Yes, of course." And he brings them to the kitchen, and they made the mussels for us.
I love it. That's so him.
It was so fun. He's the coolest and so hilarious and nice.
His house in Sag Harbor is right in the middle of town.
Yes.
It's right off the street, right by where the boats are.
That's where we went and hung out afterwards.
Yeah, so like I eat at that restaurant right next door to his place, and I'm always walking by. Yeah, it's the old dinner. DAV. It's they do seafood really well there. I forget what it's called now, but it used to be the Disabled American Veterans Hall. Anyway,
okay.
Before it became a restaurant, but their fish there is really good. But I remember I always walk by to go to the restaurant and look into and Billy's just sitting in his living room. You know, everyone just walks on the street, you just see him.
That was
so funny.
I remember we were in the place looking out at people. There's even like a balcony overlooking the street. Not even a balcony, it's just like the roof of a deck or something, and you're just looking down on the street, but it's not like super high up or anything. No. People could just look up and see Billy Joel looking at them. Yeah,
it's very close to the street. It's odd.
Yeah, I know. But he's not like, he wasn't, you wouldn't know that he's, a big deal. He's one of those people who has zero
ego
about himself. Yeah, there's none of that stuff. He was great. What a great guy. So much fun.
That's great. I love it. Are you doing more of the REM podcast?
We're doing Talking Heads now.
Oh, right. I saw that, right. So you've moved on. You've done every REM. You've moved on. You're doing Talking Heads.
We did all the REM. We started with U2, then did REM. Speaking of things that no one's asking for. Wow. White guy podcast.
Yeah, that's a real white stuff there.
Man. So we're doing Talking Heads now, which is fun. It's fun to listen to those records again, Yeah. Those are great. But I think the bands we already did were the ones. I was always a big Talking Heads fan, but U2 and REM were kind of the biggies for me as like a teenager and stuff.
Yeah, same. Yeah, REM I loved. I was a giant REM fan.
Yeah.
And then I went to school in the South, and going to college in the South is just
Where?
a small I went to Rhodes, which is a teeny school in Memphis. Yeah. And I felt like, because I liked REM in high school, but then I went to this little liberal arts college in the South where that's all anyone listened to. It was like going to REM Academy.
Wow.
Like out of every dorm window, that's all you heard.
So did you just get burnt out on it?
I got not a little burnt, but I got a real education in it, more than I had expected. Yeah. And Green had just come out that year when I got there, so everyone was listening to that. And I will tell you one funny story about Memphis. It was March of '91, and there was a little bar called the 2A Inn that had nothing in it except 2 booths and 4 stools and a bunch of drunks. And they just kept it open until people were there, and people left. It's sort of they closed. There's no hours,
Yeah.
And you could either get a frozen goblet of Miller or Bud, and that was it.
Yeah.
And there was one drunk at the bar one day, and a bunch of us college kids were hanging out. And he goes, "I'm going to go get my guitar. We're going to have ourselves a sing-along." I'm like, "Okay, great." And he stumbles out. We're never going to see him again. Half hour later, he comes back. He's got a guitar. You have to remember, it's March of '91. And he starts plucking his guitar, and no one's paying attention to him. I'm the only one listening. He goes, "Life, it's bigger. It's bigger than you, and you are not me." And he starts playing Losing My Religion.
Yeah.
Perfectly.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, everyone stops talking. And everyone's like, that song just came out.
Yeah.
A week ago.
Yeah.
And he plays the whole thing. This guy drunk. like 60-year-old.
Yeah.
And it was just one of the weirdest moments I'd ever
Wow.
had in town, like REM related. And then he finishes, and everyone's quiet, and he goes, "Ain't got that quite right yet."
Whoa, how weird. I wonder if he was like some friend of theirs, or like an alternative rock
Guy. Yeah, I don't
Ebenezer
know.
Scrooge.
Maybe, I don't know if he had been like in the music business in the past or what, but it was very odd.
Yeah, that song was huge. That
Huge.
was like everywhere for
Yeah,
a while.
that was their biggest hit, but this was like probably like
Right when
literally
it came out or
2
something,
weeks
yeah.
after it was out, and that's why everyone knew it, but people were like, no one would know it by heart yet.
Yeah.
You know. We have 5 minutes left.
Did I just
You
cut
froze.
out?
You froze for a second. Yeah. You're back now.
Oh, I was just like fake freezing for a second.
I know. I could tell.
You could tell. Yeah.
I could tell it's a fake freeze because when it's a real freeze, it spins.
Oh, that's right. That's like such a lame, like 9 years ago joke anyway.
It's a classic bit.
Yeah.
I will say this. I wanted to tell you, and I've told my other friends, that my buddies have put out this watch. It's called the Unfit Bit. It's like to get you to go vote. It has it's like a
great.
it's a digital watch that's like set to timers to like remind you to go vote.
Oh, that's great. What
and
a
it
good
has
idea.
like a bunch of different bands and stuff. If anyone wants one, you can get it at unfitbit.com.
Unfitbit.com.
And
what a good idea.
Yeah, and a lot of proceeds go to a voting charity. I forgot what it's called, but it's a lot of money to get people to vote.
That's great. I know that going to iwillvote.com, if you're not registered or if you're not sure you're registered, that's a great way to find out. And also votesaveamerica.com has all the info you need about like deadlines for your state for requesting an absentee or when you need to be registered, but all that kind of stuff. It's all on there.
That's great. 'Cause everyone should vote. Everyone should remind themselves to go vote. But vote early and vote through the mail now if you can. I don't know when that starts. That starts in October maybe. I'm not sure, but
I think right now, thinking like in person if you can, but if you're at all worried about it, mail is good. And even like vote by mail, but then hand deliver it to a drop box. That's like ideal too.
Colorado is doing that.
Uh-huh.
I know. I think they're going to start. Other states are going to start doing that, but Colorado's already the only ones who are on top of that.
Yeah.
Someone asked, Global Freeze, who's here every show, wants to know if you thought DiCaprio was too young to play Hughes.
No. No, Howard Hughes was quite young when he started in Hollywood and started producing movies and stuff. And then, they aged him up well. I thought he was incredible in that movie, and really great and impressive guy to work with.
I'm sure. Yeah, I did a teeny part in the Basketball Diaries. I remember he was very
you did?
serious. Yeah, it got cut.
I haven't seen that in so long.
But we did play basketball together, and he had to pass out in the scene, and he literally he hyperventilated himself to pass out.
Oh my gosh!
I was like, why don't you try acting?
Instead of the Olivier Dustin Hoffman story, I'm going to start telling the Herzog DiCaprio
story. Yeah. I was like, are you really making yourself pass out? Just fake it, man.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Yeah. So people are saying Krampus is a masterpiece. Which I think it is. I think it's the greatest Christmas horror movie we've ever seen.
Sure. Yeah. I like it too. I think it's super fun, and Michael Dougherty that directed it, he's a really brilliant guy. Toni Collette and David Koechner are in that. They're so good.
Love those two. Yeah. Yeah, it's not. It doesn't get the love it deserves. We have about 30 seconds left. Anything else you want to plug?
Are you freaked out about the election?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm freaked out in the sense that I think they are going to draw it out. We're never going to know who won until the end of the year. And Trump's not going to leave. I really believe that. I think he's going to try.
That's why it has to be overwhelming.
Overwhelming, so if we can be. If we can be. Even then, he's going to be like, oh, it was rigged. But then you have to just be like, well, this is what it is.
Yeah.
That's what I'm worried about that. That's what I'm actually worried about. No one's going to concede.
Ay.
Yeah. I don't want to end on a down note, but Adam, thank you, buddy. You were the best.
Thanks, Seth. So fun.
It's so fun to see
I'm glad we could finally do this. I know.
Yeah, exactly.